Hi guys, it's Dan here from Series Parody, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Wrestling Manager, which is finally released for the iPhone, iPad and iPod touches. So, for those of you that don't know, in Wrestling Manager you start out as a promoter in charge of a very small wrestling company, and it's your task to turn this small wrestling company into the biggest, most popular wrestling company in the history of the world. In order to do that, you're going to need to put on events so that you can make money, so that you can sign people. And once you've signed better wrestlers with better wrestling ability and more popular wrestlers, then you'll start going into bigger arenas and selling out the bigger arenas. You'll be able to buy championships, you'll be able to buy different match types. And eventually a TV network guy is going to come around and give you a deal. Then it's going to be all about the TV ratings. And if you're good enough, you'll get a pay-per-view deal and a live TV deal. And then eventually you'll work your way up and you'll be competing with everybody else online in the biggest online ratings war ever. So, there's plenty to the game, but it's very simple to play and kind of get your hands on. As you can see, this is kind of the cover flow kind of screen here. So, you've got arenas, you've got match types, there's wrestlers here, all kinds of different wrestlers, and then you've got your championships. There's 5 championships in the game, and then on top of that you've got your promos. So, just to give you a rough idea, all of that can be used in the auction. It's your sort of cool little auction feature that we've got going on here. It'll be familiar to some of you, pretty much anyone that's ever used an auction, I guess. You know, you can buy, you can bid, or buy it now, depending on which cards are used and which cards aren't. Every card's got a certain price, and you know, if you can afford it, buy it now, and if you can't, make a bid and come back later, see if you've won. What we got here? Let's just do one of these just to show you. So you can buy it now, and we've kind of set it up so that, you know, if you just want to bid, you just confirm the bid, and there you go. Sure, I don't really need to explain that much further. We'll just advance some time here. Right, so the main part of the game is obviously setting up new events, and you can call these events whatever you like. You can set wherever they are going to take place. Now, each different arena has got a different capacity of people and a different rent applied to them. So it's going to cost you 700k to rent that arena, and there's a maximum of 950 people that can fit in. So if you're a good promotion, then you'll sell out all 950. And if you're not, you know, very good at what you do, then you might only get 150 people, in which case you might end up losing money on the event. And that's kind of one of the things that you've got to watch out for. Now, there's some arenas that don't charge you rent. There's some arenas that do charge you rent, and you know, it works out in your favour, rent versus capacity. And then there's some where it charges you more rent than there is in the capacity, but because the capacity is so huge, you probably still earn quite a bit of money from it. So this is the main feature in the game, I suppose. The idea is that you add matches, and you know, it's fairly simple. You come in, you pick your wrestlers. You want to look at things like popularity and wrestling ability when you're doing this, especially when you're picking your main event. You need to be very careful when you're picking your main event. For now, we'll just throw a couple in just to show you. And you know, then you can set up your promos, and promos are very good for boosting things like popularity and for, at the same time, hyping your main events. They each have different purposes. So it tells you a little bit about the wrestlers on the back of the card, so how many wrestling moves they've got, what finishes they've got. The more moves and the more finishes they've got, then the more maxed out that card is. So each wrestler can have up to the 5 moves of Doom, and they can also have 2 finishes each. And the finishes and the moves add to the wrestling ability. Likewise, they can have 2 catchphrases, which adds to the mic skills, all of which mixes with the popularity to make the overall. So that's kind of give you an idea, and the value of the card is set based on the overall. So depending on how much you've trained the guys up, depends on have you had him in factions and built his popularity up with factions? Have you been giving him championships? Have you been giving him airtime on the mic? All these things contribute. And like when you're putting him in matches, are you putting him in different types of matches against different types of people? Is he wrestling wrestlers that are better than him so that he can improve? Or all these things really add up and kind of add to the depth of the game, I suppose. So anyway, like I say, you can automate this if you like. You can automate the full event if you like. You can just click automate, and then that sort of gives you the full event basically. And you can rearrange these if you need to rearrange them, or you can nip in and you can edit them. It's really all up to you, and there's even a way, so if you want to pick the winner, you can come in and you can turn kayfabe mode off, then come and pick your match. Select results, and it'll allow you to pick the winner, which is, again, very important for progression, because the idea is that if a wrestler's been winning more matches, then they must have been using a finisher, in which case their finishers are likely to go up over time the more matches they win. It's not as easy. Wrestling's not just about winning, so if you've been wrestling somebody that's better than you, chances are you're going to improve. And that's basically the crux of it. You come in, you can launch the event. It'll do this whole simulating thing, and you need to really pay attention to this part, guys, because it's all about the crowd, and are the crowd into certain things at certain times, and you'll be able to tell if the crowd bars are going up to the top quite often, then you've probably got something good going on there. It's all about listening to the fans, as wrestling really is. So it's either that, or you can skip through that if you like. Like I say, so it's not just about making as much money as you can. It's about putting on great shows. And if you're not putting on great shows, then not only will you end up losing money, because that event cost $6,000 to run, but it only brought in $5,730. So you actually lost money on that event. But even if you'd have made money, unless you're making 5-star events, 4-star events, 3-star events, you're not really going to be improving the way that you need to be, especially when it comes time for the TV ratings and TV shows. So you get a critics pop-up, and this kind of helps you out to tell you what you was doing wrong, what you're doing right. The critics in the game are real critics in life, by the way. Check out the websites by clicking on the link here. I won't show you that now, but it's there. And pay attention to these things, because they do give you an idea of what's going on. So like the good matches were really bad. The last match was bad end to a bad show. So that's kind of saying to you, get better wrestlers with better quality so that you can put on better matches. Come through to the main game, and that's kind of the crux of the game. From what we know, people seem to like it, and there's plenty more to it. So you can come and you can do factions, and what factions do is they help out with popularity, and the longer you keep a guy in a faction and keep the faction together, the better the popularity will be. If you've got a manager, the greater the popularity will rise. So there's plenty to that as well. and then you go put them in matches, and it's things like that. So that's the game, guys. We have got plenty of patches in mind that we're going to be bringing out, and I just really hope that you enjoy it.